In this video, I will show you exactly how to build Kokomi as a support or burst DPS. I'll be showing you her support artifacts, weapons, Kokomi's pros and cons, and give you guys a few team compositions. Let's get right into Kokomi's support and sub DPS artifacts. The first artifact set have the potential to be Kokomi's best in slot. This set is going to be the 4-piece Tenacity of Millelith set. The set piece bonus give exactly what Kokomi needs, HP %, and the 4-piece bonus provides great supporting effects that benefit your team. However, you have to be very careful considering every attack of Kokomi's jellyfish must hit an enemy for the 4-piece Tenacity to work, because since Kokomi's elemental skill have a cooldown every 20 seconds, the enemies might move out of range. Just be aware of when you put down a jellyfish and what kind of enemies you are fighting, especially enemies like factories, samurais, and every Genshin player's new favorite enemy, the specters. However, there is something called Snapshotting, which I will cover later on in this video, which addresses this exact concern. An alternative artifact set you can use is the Heart of Depth. This set leans towards Kokomi's DPS with her normal and charge autos. This set will be good for a sub DPS Kokomi option that focuses on herself rather than the team's damage output. This set requires a specific rotation where you would cast Kokomi's elemental skill first, then her elemental burst for ideal uptime. Of course, this depends on what team comp you are using and planning on running as well. A middle ground set you can run on Kokomi is 2-piece Heart of Depth, 2-piece Maiden, or 2-piece Tenacity. You can interchange these sets depending on your artifact's substats. These artifact combos are all good on Kokomi, so substats will be the deciding factor on what you want to use on Kokomi. I will still work towards a 4-piece Tenacity though, because I feel like that artifact set have the highest ceiling for Kokomi. For artifact stats to aim for, there are some stats you can interchange based on what you need. In most cases, it will be Healing Bonus Circlet, HP % Sands, and Hydro Damage Goblet. For artifact substats, try to aim for HP %, Elemental Mastery, Energy Recharge, and Attack %. Aim for at least 2 or 3 lines on each artifact. For Kokomi's weapons, in general, in most cases, Kokomi should use Sterling Tales of Dragon Slayer if you don't have a Sucrose on the team. This weapon gives HP % substats and a really nice weapon passive for your team. It is also really affordable, and I am pretty sure 99.9% of you guys have this weapon as R5 just laying around. So use it on Kokomi if you don't have Sucrose on the team. The Everlasting Moonglow is Kokomi's signature weapon. It is really strong on her, and if you are planning on pulling Jade Cutter and Goddess Weapon instead, give it to Kokomi and watch her carry your team. This weapon gives HP % substats, and the weapon passive basically meshes perfectly with Kokomi. The Skyward Atlas is also a great choice. This weapon gives attack % substats and really nice weapon passive that improves Kokomi's AoE ability. A pretty good catalyst in reverse vape comps. This weapon is top tier alongside Everlasting Moonglow. Next up are the 3 craftable weapons. The good thing about Kokomi is all 3 of these weapons are really strong, so craft the best one depending on what your needs are and your team comp. The Mappa Mare is pretty viable, with Elemental Mastery substats and a really nice weapon passive. This weapon is a great all-around weapon you can use on Kokomi if you already have one built. But if you have to choose between a craftable weapon, I would pick Prototype Amber to craft if you are going to use it solely on Kokomi. This weapon boasts HP % substats and the weapon passive generates energy. Since most of Kokomi's damage comes from her elemental burst, your ability to regenerate energy and cycle Kokomi's elemental burst is really important. Therefore, I will pick Prototype Amber over Mappa Mare if you are still deciding on what weapon to craft for Kokomi. Lastly, the Hakushin Ring. Another weapon that you can craft is added to the mix. This weapon's value is mostly for electro charge teams, but if you are not planning on running any electro characters on the team, this weapon won't be as viable. But if you are planning on running a electro charge team, Hakushin Ring will be the go-to weapon for her. I also made a more in-depth weapon tier list for Kokomi if you want to learn more about what weapon you should use on her. The link is in the description and pinned comment. Next, let's quickly go over some of Kokomi's pros and cons. For pros, Kokomi is a good hydro applicator. She can be a carry that does damage and heal your team. A win-win situation. Oh, and you can also get to use all those trash HP, substats, artifacts you thought you were gonna burn on Kokomi. She essentially give healing circlets and HP% main stats a new meaning of life. Also, she can walk on water. Very cool, right? For cons, Kokomi can't crit. For Kokomi's team composition, she will likely be most viable in an Electro Charge comp. Also, going back to Snapshotting, this idea is like for skills with a duration, like Beidou or Xiangling's Burst. The damage throughout the entire duration is based on the character's stat upon initial casting. Therefore, Tenacity 4-piece set only needs that 3-second window for either Xiangling or Beidou to use the elemental burst and not worry about the jellyfish hitting the mobs every time. Alright, the first team I recommend is Kokomi's Electrocutioner comp. It will consist of Kokomi, Beidou, Raiden, and Kazuha. Beidou will be the main carry, with Raiden and Kokomi sprinkling some damage here and there, and Kazuha providing shred and support. You can also use Sucrose instead of Kazuha here if you don't have Kazuha, or if you don't want a Thrilling Tales on Kokomi. A reverse vape comp of Kokomi, Xiangling, Bennett, and Sucrose is also great as well. Xiangling will do the majority of the team's damage, with can't crit Kokomi contributing to heals and wetting the enemies. Sucrose is there for shreds and buffs, Bennett for the pyro synergy and his buffs. This team is gonna be really fun to play with. The last team you can reference is the affordable Primal Care team, or as I like to call it, the Kokomi Care, which consists of Kokomi, Beidou, Fischl, and Sucrose. The good thing about this team is that it works pretty great, and it is affordable, which reflects the team's name. You can replace Fischl with Electro Traveler if you don't have Fischl, but it is a pretty standard Electro Charge team. A character that pairs up well with Kokomi is definitely gonna be Beidou. Beidou will be the main DPS on a generic Electro Charge team with an Electro Battery. These two can make up a great and fearsome duo, and enemies will be electrocuted. Sucrose is another character that complements well with Kokomi. First, you can dump Thrilling Tales on Sucrose and let Kokomi use a stronger catalyst. Sucrose with 4-piece VV provides shred, and also good buffs for teams. Since Kokomi is a healer, you will also have other flexible options on who you choose on your 2 remaining slots. Lastly, I think Xiangling can also make a great pair with Kokomi. I will cover this duo for sure on a follow-up video to test their viability, so stay tuned for that. Kokomi is not a main DPS, and that's alright. She can hold her own while providing heals, and her role in a party is not really a familiar one, and we haven't really had a character like Kokomi before. Anyways, be sure to be on the lookout for Kokomi's showcase videos soon, and if you like this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications, and stay tuned for more Kokomi's guides and tests, and I'll see you guys later.